Good morning, part two. Oops. I'm starting off this morning. I'm getting this clean, getting the intake clean real good. Just taking the wire wheel on the drill and knocking the big stuff off, making sure it's smooth. Then I'll go back with some steel wool and carburetor cleaner, make sure everything's clean. Now these two ports over here that I showed yesterday were jammed, packed full of carbon, and that's where the EGR valve mounts, where it draws its vacuum from. And there's no way the EGR valve was working. I still got some more to get out of there, but which would explain the original problem over a year ago with the rough running and all that, and that may have contributed to too much pressure and whatever, you know. But I did run to the parts store this morning. I got me a new distributor. That is a ignition control module. I'm gonna go ahead and replace it. A little expensive, but it's a whole lot easier to do it now. And somebody asked, the truck has the gauges, the odometer is showing 235,000 miles. So that's a bunch of miles. So, and I can't tell if that's ever been changed or not, so why not? It's there, might as well do it. Same with the throttle body gasket. Even though I just put one on not long ago, I went ahead and got a new one. We'll do that. And now it's a matter of just a couple hours of cleaning. When I get this all clean, I'll go back to the truck and get down in there and start cleaning that. That'll be the hardest part of the cleaning. Alrighty, I'll see y'all in a little while and show you what I got done. Alrighty, I'm inside the engine block now. Got one side fairly clean, still got to go over it again and get that side. Let's do some observations while I'm doing this. I observe and I remember this is not nearly as much fun as it used to be. Goodness. It's okay when I got something on the bench that I can work on, but under here, man. But that's alright. Not far. Not too far from being able to put the manifold back on. Be another hour or so. I clean this side, and I'll drag the compressor out here in a few minutes and I want to make sure all my holes are clear and clean. I've got some carburetor cleaner I'll squirt down in there. Phew, goodness. I'll be glad when this job's over with. Whoop. I'm caught on something. There we go. Be back. Alright. I am confident this is clean. I cleaned it real good with the wire brush, carburetor cleaner. And then I went with some goof off. Wiped it down several times. Now I've got to glue these gaskets on. It says put a sparingly amount. Now it came with a little tube of stuff the gasket kit did, but it don't look like enough to me. I don't think. I know enough is enough, but I don't want to take any chances. It's got to dry until it don't move. To take probably 30-45 minutes. Especially around the water jets. Once it dries, while it's drying, I've got all the bolts are all soaking in some purple cleaner. It's been soaking overnight. I want them to be very clean also, because once you get to that point, it's all got to be done fairly quickly. And at the same time, I'll go see if I can't find my torque wrench. I know I've got it in there. Knock the dust off it. It hasn't been used in a long time. And I'll show you that when I get to it. I'm using a good Felpro gaskets. Felpro is a good brand. I've always heard that's what we used to use at the shop years ago. They're not the cheapest, but on something like this, I don't want the cheapest. You know what I mean? I do not want to do this job again. Let's go back around there a little bit. I know somebody's yelling at me. Don't forget that, don't forget that. Alright, let's move this out of the way. Alright, this gasket goes right there. Make sure I line it up good. Now across this front and the back, that is solid silicone gasket. And I'll put that probably real heavy on there. That old timer that taught me a lot at the shop back in the day told me one time, he said, "Boy, silicone is cheap." So now I watched, from what I remember, you don't not supposed to put sealant here, but I do remember the last one I did, I put some tiny thin coats around the water jackets anyway. So I'm gonna go look that up again. Maybe I'll put it, maybe I won't. Alright, that should stay. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, and then I'm gonna let it sit for a while and make sure it's good and dry before I put the intake back on it. Be right back. Alright, I am ready to put the manifold back on. This is dried pretty good. I'm going to build my gaskets across the back, dot a little bit around here, and I'm going to have to work fairly quickly before it starts setting up and get the bolts in and all that. So I'll show you what it looks like when I get it on there. Alright, let's see if we can get the camera set somewhere. Now I'm torquing these down. I looked it up, it's 25 pounds of torque. Now when it gets there, the wrench will make a click. Just like that. And this one and one more. Alright, that means they're evenly tightened. Oh, I already got that one. There we go. Whew, boy, I tell y'all what, that's a little work for an old guy. Alright. Just for safety's sake, I'm going to run them one more time. Make sure I got them all torqued. And then it's just a matter of bolting everything back up. Pardon me. Hardest part's going to be the distributor, which should not be hard at all. I've got to replace that little coil in there, and I'll show you that when I get there. I can do that in the shop. Now, before I put this distributor back in, this is the ignition something other module. We'll go ahead and replace that. I maybe should have got the other piece too, but this was expensive enough. So far I'm into this whole job on the truck, I think $110, I think, so far. It's not too bad. Bad enough, but not too bad. Okay, and I'm being real careful not to move. Dang it. That distributor, the rotor button, or nothing down here. Alright, chances are that was not bad, but chances are it'll go bad fairly quickly. Or could. Alright, let's just put a coat of this on there. Talk about a mess, folks. The shop is a mess, but that's alright. Clean that off a little bit. Plug this back in. Alright, can't see it. Need my glasses on, don't I? But I do not know where they are. Probably in the truck. There we go. Look, wrong way. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Tighten that down just a little bit. Alright, now let's go put the distributor back in. Believe it or not, we're not far from the end. It is getting late in the afternoon, but we have almost a engine put back together. Got a couple of braces to put back on, vacuum lines to hook up, and the plug-ins. And of course, I'm not going to crank it till I drain the oil. I'll drain the oil out and replace all that. Add some more antifreeze. I don't know if I'll get all the way to cranking today, but we'll see. The sun is starting to get low, and I'm tired. Alright folks, moment of truth. I went ahead and I got the oil drained and let it drip for about almost an hour. New oil, new filter, plenty of antifreeze, everything's back in place, everything's tight. I didn't have any parts left over, thank goodness. So I'm going to see if it'll crank. The only thing I'm worried about is that distributor, which I'm sure I got it back in the right place. But we're going to see if it'll crank or not. So I think I'll take y'all with me. I'm just going to let the camera sit here and we'll see what happens. And I promise I have not cranked it yet. Now, at least it's cranked. I'll do something else in a minute. Well, that's going to do it for part 2. That is how you change a intake manifold gasket. You can't see it. That's a little bit of oil burning off that got down on there. I do not want to believe that that water pump is leaking. I don't want to believe that. I don't know if that's some blowback that was in there or what, but I'll drive it a day or two and we'll see what happens. If it is the water pump leaking, that's not a big deal. They can't much more go wrong with this thing that hadn't already been fixed. So I'm going to end it there. I'm going to drive it a day or two and we'll see what happens. And I'll let y'all know. And I thank y'all for watching. And thank you for all the advice in the comments. And I will see y'all later. I gotta get a shower. I think I stink.